Welcome back to another 2021 Player Outlook presented by RotoHeat.com. This time we're talking Austin Ekeler, running back, Los Angeles Chargers. Thank you guys for always hanging out with us. If you like the video, subscribe, hit that notification icon so you can stay up to date with all of our live streams or any other content we drop here on YouTube. All right, so let's get to it. So with Ekeler, we think as a consensus, there's 14 of us that looked into him. He's probably going to finish somewhere between running back 6 and 9 overall. 11 are buying, nobody's holding, 3 are selling. And we think his ADP is going to be the same next year as it is currently. But with all that being said, let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think his ADP is going to be the same as it is next year as it is currently? We want to know. We want to keep that conversation going. We definitely believe he's a weekly starter this year. If you look at the Fantasy Pros ADP for the redraft purposes, he's sitting about running back 9 or number 11 overall. When you look at the RotoHeat.com Superflex ADP, he's at running back 17 or 45 overall. This is an interesting dude. You know, he was a sleeper for a while, then he really started to produce strongly in fantasy, and everybody's been on the Ekeler bandwagon. The guy does a good job in every sense of it. He works hard. He's a good runner. They typically use him more in the passing game. Obviously, everybody knows that. You know, in 2019, he had 108 targets, caught 92 of those for almost 1,000 yards. 1,000 yards receiving when you think of guys like Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and at that point Hunter Henry. I mean, all these talented guys, and Ekeler's getting almost 1,000 receiving yards. That's really, really profound and really strong. That speaks volumes to the player. Now, typically in the running game, he's not as heavily involved. He's never broken 600 yards rushing in a season. They typically do a good job of sharing the load, but it'll be interesting, because new head coach Brandon Staley is a defensive mind coming over from the Rams. You know, obviously they brought him over to help kind of really strengthen what the Chargers' weakness is right now, which is their defense. Their offense is in a really good spot. They did a good job rebuilding that offensive line. Quarterback of the future appears to be Herbert. You've got running backs in Ekeler and Josh Kelly, and I'm trying to think of who else they got on the depth chart right now. Justin Jackson, Larry Roundtree they drafted this year, plus, you know, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Josh Palmer. I mean, they've got plenty of skill positions, and the offense is in good hands, potentially. So the caveat to all this is Joe Lombardi, the new offensive coordinator for the Chargers, is a guy that I'm very familiar with. As a Detroit Lions guy, he was our offensive coordinator for 2 painstaking seasons. He was the offensive coordinator in Detroit for 2014 and 2015, if you'd recall. And it wasn't great. You know, when you look back and you listen to the folks that talk about Lombardi, the scheme was a bit too complex and convoluted and just too much going on. So that's a concern with a young quarterback. Herbert is extremely smart and did extremely well in Anthony Lynn's offense last year. I'm hoping that Lombardi has learned, because he left Detroit, obviously, well, he was fired, went back to the Saints and was with them for quite a while, and now he's getting another chance as an OC. You know, with the Saints, he was the quarterback's coach, and now he's getting another chance at offensive coordinator. He's always been on the offense, and he seems to be, from all accounts, a great offensive mind. So hopefully the maturity and the time to develop has helped him there, and hopefully that helps the entire offense. With that being said, in his time in Detroit, when he was the OC, you know, he was able to really get the running game going, other than the fact that the guys that were running just were getting hurt. You know, in his final season with Detroit, I mean, the team had rushing like 1,300 yards rushing. The quarterback still was producing well. Obviously, Matthew Stafford was completing, you know, 60% plus of his passes, and, you know, really good numbers and stats on the board. But obviously, overall, the team was just not gelling and not clicking. So that's the concern you have going into this, is though they were able to produce numbers-wise, things just weren't turning out in the wins column, and that's where it kind of falls off. But Ekeler is an elite talent. He's a PPR machine. He gives you plenty of PPR value, and that's really where it comes in. He's probably the best PPR running back in fantasy. I mean, quite honestly, he has the best chance for being the best PPR back in fantasy. And that's a tall task. This could be, you know, kind of the breakout season, though. This could be where they give it to him in the run game and the passing game, as long as he stays healthy, obviously. You know, he's the best athletic running back on this roster. You know, Roundtree's a big back, big physical back. Josh Kelly's a guy that I liked, but nobody else seems to be a big fan of. He's got talent to produce, but never put it together. Ekeler's the complete back for this team. So he gives you RB1 production, gives you RB1 potential on a weekly basis. But ultimately, let me know in the comments below and say hi to my daughter. Love you guys. We'll talk to you again in the next video.